Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you to Deliver It, your Agile Product Owners podcast. Now recording live. And recording.
And recording this time.
Yes.
Take two.
Kim and I had a great conversation just now.
Yeah.
We didn't record any of it.
No, you didn't record any of it. The blame falls on you. Let's just be very clear about that.
Yeah, it's my fault. The engineer screwed up. But we're here now, Kim. I'm Corey, that's Kim. We screwed up the intro, but that's fine.
Corey screwed the intro.
Because we've done it 3 times.
Fantastic. Practice makes perfect. Or as my dad used to say, perfect practice makes perfect.
That perfect practice is the correct thing to do.
Practice equals perfection.
Yes.
Wow, it's good to be here talking to you.
Well, thank you.
Because we haven't been doing that for the last 20 minutes.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
So, hey, Corey.
Hi.
How are things?
Well, the seasons are changing. My sinuses are blowing up again.
Again.
Yes.
Year after year.
Well.
Corey's allergic to everything. So.
Yes, that's true.
Everything.
That's
so
true.
Poor Corey has a hard time during
as long as I don't sneeze my head off.
During fall, spring, summer, and
fine.
winter. he has difficulties.
That's all of them. That's all of them.
Well, at least your eyes aren't puffy.
That's true.
You used to have really puffy eyes when, I think it was like the lawn mowing.
Oh, yeah.
I think it was springtime when you
Yes.
get the puffy eyes.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's always fun.
Yeah. But we've gotten, 12 straight days of rain now?
12 straight days of rain.
That's awesome.
It's biblical.
Yay, Raleigh. I mean, it could be a lot worse.
It could always be worse.
Because, hurricanes.
Yes.
Flooding.
Yes.
We don't have any of that going on, at least.
No, we don't, thankfully.
That's good.
I was downtown at an open space conference last Saturday, and it was raining. But it was a very good conference. So it was a half-day open space.
What is open space?
Conference.
I don't know what that means.
Basically, think of every coffee talk or side conversation you've been to or you've had at a conference and how good those conversations were. And then imagine a whole conference built around that concept.
Ah.
So all you do is show up around a theme. So this one was Agile Leadership. It was on a Saturday, half day. And we showed up. They had rooms and they had time grids. And then we showed up, the attendees, about 40 of us. We wrote on cards what we wanted to talk about or what we were interested in hearing about. And then we self-organized into those grids, those type topics. We had a facilitator, Devin, who's very zen. He led us through what an open space conference was. And then once we organized, we attended those sessions. We had a retrospective at the end, which was great to talk about the things we liked, things we didn't like. All the session notes were laid out for everybody to see. And it was very good conversations and very good information that we talked about and met some new people, and it was great.
So
I liked it.
It sounds very interesting. So the 40 of you came together. Mm-hmm. You wrote down things that you want to talk about on stickies.
Right.
And then did Devin group those?
No, we did.
You guys grouped those.
Yeah.
So how many topics were there?
There were 12 total.
And did you guys talk about all 12?
There were 12 topics being talked about, but we could only go to, I went to 3, but one of the rules is you can go to anything you want to and get up at any time. So that's the overall rule of 2 feet. So if you're not learning or you're not being involved in a conversation, then you go to another one.
Okay.
And that's okay.
So you split up into 12 different groups and then people can bounce around, but the entire time is spent with those 12 topics.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. Very
That's
good idea.
kind of fascinating.
And it came from, I forgot the guy's name, but that was the genesis of the conversation, or the idea that, those coffee talks and those hallway conversations are the most interesting part of the conferences that he was going to. And a lot of companies are doing this too. Spotify makes a big deal about this is their unconference. NASA does this, and it really interested me from the idea of if you're a company and you have lots of issues, you have lots of technologists or engineers or something like that, you get everybody together maybe once or twice a year and you go through this type of session internally to try to find ways to resolve or to get other people involved. So if one of your side of your company is doing JavaScript and somebody else is doing JavaScript, they get together and they talk about JavaScript things. And they just talk and they just go. And it's structured from the side of here's a room and here's a time, but the topics around the theme is what the attendees come up with.
Fantastic.
So it's very cool. It's very cool. And they have 4 rules, and I like these rules. So whoever shows up is the right group.
Okay.
Whatever happens is the only thing that could have.
I thought you were going to say something like whatever happens here stays here.
No, that's not Vegas. Well, maybe it is in Vegas. Whenever it starts is the right time, and whenever it's over it's over. And we had a retrospective at the end. We had big 30-inch pizzas for lunch, which was amazing.
Wow. From where?
I don't know. But
30-inch pizza? Really?
Huge pizzas. But it was great conversation and lots of good information that we shared. I wrote a blog post about one of the conversations that we had. So it was really good. And I like them. So we'll put a link to there, to the open space if you want to learn more.
That's fascinating. I love how people come up with these new concepts.
Yeah. And I think this started back in 81.
Okay, that's not very new.
It's not very new, but it's one of these things that takes a while to get traction before it becomes mass. It crosses the chasm.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about something.
Okay.
So Red Hat is having a conference here in Raleigh.
In Raleigh. Yep.
Downtown Raleigh on October 20th. This is not an open space like Corey was just talking about. This is a closed area, I'm going to call it.
Regular conference.
Whatever. I was trying to make it fun. I guess it can't be that much fun. I attended last year, and there were a number of speakers. They break off into various rooms, and you can go listen to whoever's talking about whatever topic that interests you. And I think right now it's waitlisted, but maybe you'll be lucky enough to get into the wait list and then have a slot open up for you, like I was.
Yep. It's very good. Lots of local things happening here in Raleigh, but I know there's lots of things happening in London, lots of things happening in Minneapolis and Silicon Valley and Austin. All around the globe, there's Agile meetup groups. So go to Meetup, find a group, get involved, start talking to people, and reach out. So
don't be shy.
No, don't be shy.
Make some new friends.
I try to meet friends.
Did you meet some new friends?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, good.
I met some new people.
Awesome.
Look at me expanding my horizons.
I'm so proud of you because you're an introvert, aren't you?
Yes.
Introvert? And meeting new people doesn't come very naturally to you.
No.
Whereas everybody's my friend.
That's true. That's true.
So, I guess speaking of friends, meeting new friends, everybody's a friend. You're meeting some new ones. I have a bit of an announcement to make.
Yes, you do.
I've already made this announcement to you, so it's not a big surprise.
Okay.
But, I'm going to be leaving the Deliberate Cast podcast, in a couple episodes. I'm going to go up to 20? That's what we talked about.
Yeah.
So this is number 17. I'll do a few more, and then I'm going to be parting ways, but that doesn't mean that I'm gone for good. Corey, I expect to be a guest at some point in time.
All right.
I think that'd be kind of fun.
Yes.
I can guest on some other things.
Sure.
But I've got a lot of outside interests that I'd like to pursue, and I'm starting a new position in another company. And I'm going to shift my focus just a little bit on other things.
Yeah. And that's something that I've always, so this is twice you quit on me. But I've always told you and everybody else, you know what, if you're not feeling it or you want to go do something, that you're really interested in or passionate about, then go do it. I hate that word passion, but if you really want to do something, then go do it. Don't worry about me. I'll find something, we'll find some way, and that's fine. So you've started your little,
my little business.
You
start your cute little business. Your cute little paper business.
You started a business and you want to help see it grow. So
I do want to see it grow.
You've been doing some things. You want to do more things.
Yes.
And like you said, new job.
So
you got a lot going on.
New focus. Yeah. A lot going on. So, and I just feel like it's time for me to fly, Corey.
There you go.
But you have been the wind beneath my wings.
Oh, stop. Please. Seriously.
Please stop that.
It. No, it's fine. I had the idea. You were kind enough to help me get it started. You've been a trooper helping me do this and get it to the point where it's at now. So I thank you for that.
Aww.
And for helping me, and for all the listeners. Please say hi to Kim or bye to Kim in a couple episodes. So.
It's all good. I can still be reached the show's contact.
That's right. I will forward that information on.
So what does that mean for you, Mr.
That's
Corey?
Kim's announcement. My announcement is that the show will continue.
The show must go on.
Insert Queen song here.
We are the champ.
The show must go on. That's what I meant.
I don't know that song.
Stop that. So I'm going to continue the show. I need somebody else to continue it with me. So we're going to put up a post for a new co-host.
A new co-host
post. New co-host
post.
Yes. So if you are interested, now you do not have to be a professional podcaster because
neither one of us are.
Neither one of us are.
Clearly.
We are rank amateurs. But if you are interested in talking to me on the internet, radio, as it were, about product owner things, I would like to talk to you. So if you've listened to the show or you're interested and you thought, well, maybe, or they're wrong, or Corey's an idiot, they should do this, whatever. I'm open to all that. Kim tells me I'm an idiot almost every other day.
Yes.
And it's fine. So if you're interested, what I'd like you to do is record yourself, any way you can, either on your phone or some other method, preferably with a microphone, for about 1 to 3 minutes. And I want you to introduce yourself, talk about, how long you've been a product owner and why you like the product owner role. And then give me 3 to 5 ideas that you think would be, you'd be interested in talking about on the show. Now, I do want to have a product owner on the show. So if you're not a product owner, then
don't apply.
No, I would love to have you as a guest. So if you're a coach or if you're a writer or you're somebody else who works with a lot of product owners or a consultant or somebody else, would love to hear from you because we may need to fill in some shows and talk to some people while we're looking for a new co-host. But I really want this to be about product ownership and the ideas and the challenges and everything that product owners face. So if you're a product owner, send something in. If you're not a product owner, send something in and we'll see about getting you on as a guest.
And if you happen to enjoy interjecting with song, feel free to do that in your recording. Do I get to help you choose?
No.
Oh, come on. Really?
Maybe if we get one before your last show, we'll have a 3-host podcast.
I want to help you choose.
Okay.
Yeah. And I want them to be lively and engaging.
Okay.
Yes.
Lively and engaging. Yes.
Yes, for sure. Lively, engaging.
Yes. And it doesn't matter where you are. If you're in New Zealand, if you're in Canada, if you're in, as long as you speak English, because that's the only thing I speak.
That's a good requirement.
And not really good either. We can make this work.
Actually, not very well, but.
Oh, jeez. We can make this work on Skype. We can do Google Hangouts. We can do whatever. So we'll make it work as long as you're interested and we have a good conversation, then we'll see what happens.
Yep.
So there's the announcements.
Very
Kim's
good.
leaving, and there's a new opening for a co-host.
Co-host opening. Co-host
Yay.
post.
Co-host post. So today's topic.
This one's so hard.
This is going to be, I'm going to try to not be me on this one.
I probably will be me on this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what we're going to talk about today is product owner or product manager.
In terms of the difference between
the difference
two
between
roles.
or the similarities between the two, because there's a lot of information out there saying that one is this, the other is that, and no, that can't be right. And there's a LinkedIn discussion that I will post a link to that was going back and forth for a month about product owners do this, product managers do that. So I don't want to go down that road, although I probably will, because it's so. The same argument can be made for both. So what I want to focus on is the product side, not the owner or manager, but the product side. Somebody has to be able to decide what to do with your product, and that's your product person.
Okay.
And then I want to talk about some of the activities that product person needs to do. And then we can start looking at, is that more product owner role? Is that more product manager role? What do we think?
So so I was thinking a lot about this. Yeah. And for me, this was a very challenging topic, as you probably know.
Yes.
Because I mean, we could talk about this more, but why does this have to be 2 roles? Why can't it just be one? Or is it one role and they're just interchanging the wording, owner versus manager? Yeah. Or are people actually having 2 roles? One person fulfills one, another person fulfills another, which is the case in my company. Which is very strange to me. Yeah. But we'll talk about it.
It goes all over the place. And that's when I kind of want to break it down into, let's define the responsibilities that each has. And let's talk about what those things are. The goal is to have a better product. No matter what you're called or what your role is, the goal is to have a better product. So this product person will help achieve that. So there were some things that I initially had a gut feel to, a gut reaction to when I read them. I'm talking about product owners or product managers. One of them said the product owner is the internal and the product manager is the external face. Ugh. So split the role that way, internal versus external.
Disagree.
Somebody else said, well, the product owner is the technical guy and the product manager is the business guy.
Disagree.
Similar type thing. Somebody said that the product owner is the product manager, just in an agile context. And there is no product owner in a waterfall. It's just a product manager.
Oh, boy.
These are things we don't like, by the way. The really weird one that I couldn't find anything on, but I saw mentioned several times, was something called an agile product manager.
Oh.
An agile product manager, not a product manager, an agile product manager, and not a product owner. So I couldn't find out what they meant by that. So I'm not including that.
No, we'll just disregard that.
It's just somebody else playing fast and loose with words and roles, I think. So it's not great, and there's lots of information out there, and it really depends on what your company is doing or what you think. But we're going to give you our kind of impressions and ideas.
Right. Again, I just struggle with this whole
idea. It's tough. It is tough. No.
Why are we doing this one?
Because it's tough.
For the last three, we should do really easy things for me.
No.
Let's talk about easy stuff. How to have fun as a product owner.
We already did that.
So, in my research and in your research, there's 4 quadrants of product ownership that Bob writes about.
Yep. And so product management is, it's hard to say number 1, right? Because there is no number 1 through 4. It's product management, project management, business analysis, and leadership. So product management is one of the skills that a product owner has to have.
Right. So what he's saying is that this is all encompassing with one person and their skill set. Would you agree with that statement? I
think there are skills that a product owner needs to have.
Right.
In the product management space, things like
vision.
Yeah.
Like having that overall vision.
Yep.
Setting the goals.
For your team and for your product.
For your team and the product. Contact with the customer so that you know what you're building. You know why you're building it.
Yep.
It makes sense. Definitions of the features.
Yeah. You have to tell the team what you want to build.
Right. and having that voice.
Yeah. You're the customer voice to the team as a product owner or as a product manager, because the team typically does not talk to the customers.
Let's say as a product person.
As the product person, yes.
As a product person, these are the 4 things that you should have.
Yeah. So those are the things that are, whether you're talking about product manager or product owner, those are the things you're doing.
Right.
We think.
Which I agree with.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Yeah.
And then some of the things that are different between a product owner and a product manager based on definitions that I've seen or definitions that I've heard, right? So product managers generally don't write technical product information. So they're concerned, traditional product managers are concerned with the business features, not necessarily the technical features. They don't write stories, product managers. They write requirement documents or they write other things other than user stories. The contact with the team, traditional product managers have that at the beginning and the end, not a constant throughout. Product managers, no matter how big your product is, they usually don't scale. It's one product manager for that product. And then the product manager is usually, and I've worked with some really good product managers and some really bad ones as well, but the bad ones take that us versus them approach. It's, I want them to build this and they didn't do it. Mm-hmm. It's not a collaborative thing. Right.
But if you were to look at it, if you were to take out the word manager and you replace it with person, you have your product person.
Yeah.
Right. Now, shouldn't your product person have all of these things? Shouldn't they care about the overall requirements and the story writing and the collaboration with the team? And
because I'm a product owner and because this is a product owner's podcast, I'm going to say yes.
Okay. So we're on the same page.
Yeah.
All right. I'm just double checking here.
Yeah.
You never know.
No, that's fine. So I like doing some of those things as a product owner. I'm definitely going to do some of that.
I guess what bothers me is this is what you're reading, right? This is the research that you did on what a product manager does. Whereas in my mind, this is what the product person should do, whether I'm called an owner or a manager or whatever I'm called.
Yes.
Okay.
We'll get through. There's deeper opinions coming because there's a lot more things to go. Is this one or the other?
Right. So we have to think about, as a product manager, product person, who does these things. So who does the marketing?
Yeah. Product marketing is huge, especially in commercial products, right? Internal stuff, not so
Right.
much, but marketing is a whole nother subsection of, is that something that you do as a product owner, or is it something that you let product managers do? Is it a different role entirely?
Different team,
Who knows?
right?
It could be, a lot of this depends on size of your team
Organization.
and your product, right?
Another thing is who does the operations,
Yeah. Support, all that technical sales, that type of stuff.
right? The research.
Market research, competitors, all that type of thing. Yeah.
And then, of course, regulatory audit requirements, which are huge in the financial
Yes. I'd love to
industry.
have somebody else do that because I don't want to do it.
Right. So it'd be fun to kind of pick and choose. Like, I'll do this,
Yes.
and that, and this, and you can take this other team. Can
And
take
again,
this stuff.
depends on the size of your team, your product, and your company as to what kind of help you need as a product person.
Right. And who decides the strategic versus the tactical
Yeah.
process?
To me, that's kind of, if you're scaling, that's where you're scaling at on the strategic versus tactical side.
And in my experience, product owners don't do certain things, right? Like we don't deal with pricing.
I've never dealt with pricing.
No, why would we?
I don't know.
wouldn't know how to price
It's
anything.
something that a product manager does sometimes,
Right.
majority of the time.
Yeah.
But as a product owner, I don't know if it's in how far we go down that road to say we're going to determine the pricing as well.
What about competitors? Researching competitors?
I think that's something that, again, depending on your product, but you kind of need to know that because,
I've done a little research on my competitors. I want to see what's out there and see how we can do better.
yeah.
So yeah, I think that's a product owner thing.
Yeah.
What about sales? We don't sell anything. I mean, in a way though, when I give demos, I'm selling the features
Yeah.
that we've worked on.
I'm very much, going back to when I was in high school and college and I was doing sales, I wasn't a salesman. I don't like selling. I don't like salespeople because they're selling something.
Right.
They're not just showing me what's there and letting me choose whether to buy it or not, right? I like doing what you're talking about. If I'm doing a demo and we're quote unquote selling our product, it's, hey, here's what our product can do. What do you think? Let's talk about whether it could work for you. I'm not saying, hey, for $9.99, you can get this wonderful software product.
Right.
No, I hate that, right?
Yeah.
But you need somebody to sell. You need some sales channel. You need some way to get new subscribers or users, purchasers to get your product. And that's a sales channel. So somebody has to be in charge of that.
Yes, but it's not us.
It could be, but
mean,
I've never seen it.
No, again, just selling the features, and that's I hate
But that's
these
our,
words
that's
sell,
our
but
limited scope, right?
That's it.
So I'm sure there's other product owners. And if you've done some of these things, please tell us and tell us how you did it.
That would be interesting.
I'd love to hear it.
Another thing POs don't do is anything related to legal.
I think it's one of those things where you need to be aware of it, but there's so much depth there that that's its own role and its own thing that somebody's got to be really good at.
Yeah, it gives me a headache just even contemplating dealing with the legalities.
Yeah, of your product,
Of the
of your
product.
market, of your data. I mean, imagine if you're doing something with HIPAA or something with, all the German Workers Council or any other thing where you've got all these regulations you have to be aware of, or legal regulations you have to be aware of.
Yep.
Ooh, yeah.
So what are the issues with the differences between the roles?
So from what I could tell and what I think, the problem comes when you've got that internal versus external view. The reason is because in agile projects, in most cases, not in most cases, in all cases, we're trying to limit the number of hops it takes to get from the customer to the team. So if you've got a customer and you've got a product manager and then you've got a product owner and then you've got a team and you've got anybody else in between that product owner and product manager, it's more hops. It's
it's
the
a game of telephone. Oh, you owe me a beer.
All right. Later. But basically it's how much separation do you have between your customer and your team?
Exactly.
Ideally, there's one person and that person is your product person. In my view, it's your product owner because you're on an agile project. That's what you need.
Yeah, and how do you expect the product owner, if they have a product manager, to know everything they need to know about the customer when there's somebody in between them and the customer?
If they're getting it secondhand or something else.
Right.
So ideally, I'll put forth the ideal situation.
Yeah.
You have your team, you have your product owner, you have your customer, and that's the interface.
And I mean, maybe if you do have a product manager, maybe it's the two of you together that speaks to the business.
Yeah, I think that's one of the ways that we can fix some of these problems.
We can bridge that gap.
But really, it comes down to who has the authority to make decisions.
And to say no.
To say no. When you need an answer, who do you go to?
Right.
Who's that person? Don't care if they're a product owner or product manager. Who is the person? What do they know? What do they do? And that will kind of guide your organization to, well, we have a product manager and he's in charge of this, or we have a product owner and he's in charge for this product.
What do we ultimately want? Do we want a product owner going to a product manager for answers to questions related to requirements, for example?
If it's up to me, I would say I want a product owner, because words mean something, right? If I own my own home or own my business versus I manage a business, which one implies that it's mine?
Own the home.
The ownership, right? So, and it may be, the fact that we've changed the wording or changed the roles based on your waterfall or agile concept. But to me, if I'm in an agile environment and I'm working on a product that's delivering every, let's say 1 day to 6 weeks, and we're doing a lot of agile things, then I want a product owner or a chief product owner to be in charge of that product. And if he needs help doing sales, marketing, legal, other things that a traditional product manager would do, then I think you hire a product manager to report to the product owner to help them do those things.
But if there is a question that a team has that the product owner doesn't have an answer for, the best way, in my opinion, would be for the product owner to go directly to the customer.
Yes.
To get that information and not go through a product manager.
Yeah, I think
that's what I'm getting at.
Yes, I agree with that.
Okay.
I would like, and we've done a team for the product. So I like the product owner making the final decision, right? So, but they should always work with the team. They should always work with the customer. They should always work with the product team. That product team can comprise of other product owners that are working on the same product. Again, if you're scaling, they can comprise product managers, release managers, business analysts, the people who help decide the product so that everybody's informed. So that's your product team, but there is somebody who helps set the vision and the goals and lead that team. And that's your product owner, in my view.
Okay. I'm just thinking about is that a lot of work to put on one person?
Yes.
The product person.
Yes.
Because it is a lot of work, because not only are you expecting them to perform those product manager duties, I'm using air quotes, do you see this? But you're also expecting them to perform more of the deep down, dirty duties of an owner, which is creating those stories and grouping the backlog and having all the ceremonies, et cetera. That's a lot of work for one person.
Yeah. And again, if it depends on your product and depends on your company and size, right? If you're a small 8-man person or 8-man team.
8-man person?
8-man person. If you're a small 8-person team and you have one product owner, that product owner is doing a lot.
Yep.
If you have 6 or 8 teams or 100 teams and you're working on different product lines and different areas of products, then you've got help. You've got to scale that. That's not going to be one person.
Right.
That's going to be one person that helps organize all those things and helps set the vision and the goals and everything, but they're acting more strategically than tactically, where you work with other product owners for those teams.
Yeah. And you want to assume too that you have a scrum master to handle
Absolutely.
some of those other duties that would, just fall to a PO. It's just too much work to do.
Yeah. So having somebody help you in areas you needed to when you're scaling is the key. So if you need product managers, get a product manager to help with marketing, to help with sales. If you need a subject matter expert, hire one of those. Get a functional analyst, get a business analyst, and actually have them perform that role with your product team and learn more and help the team. I think that's perfectly good.
Perfectly perfect.
Perfectly perfect. So again, my view, product manager, product owner, have a product person. If you're on an agile side, then let that person be the product owner and let that person make the decision. If you're on the waterfall side, then why are you listening to us anyway? Because we are passionate about being product owners and working in agile spaces. But if you're in a waterfall environment and you have to work with a product manager, if they're not going to give that up, then work with them as close as you can. Get in their back pocket. Start figuring out stuff with them. Start working with them, because it's not to say that you can't have both and have a really successful outcome. Those two people have to work really closely together in order for that to happen.
Yeah, I think you just kind of touched on it. I don't think when there are dual roles, when there are two people performing similar duties, then you have to just work tightly as if you're one unit.
Yes.
And I think that's how it's successful.
Joined at the hip or joined at the head, and you have to be on the same path.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it really doesn't work, and you've got more hops. So ideally, one person, product owner, Agile Space, go team.
Ideally.
But there's a lot of
variation.
There's a different opinion about all of this.
Of course.
So that's our opinion. That's how we see this.
That's right. What are you gonna do about it?
Write in and tell us you're wrong. Which is possible. So we'll link to some more articles. There's a lot of good information out there that we got to help kind of put this into a context of this is kind of what traditional product management is. This is what agile product ownership is, and where those two lines really blur.
And clearly there's not one set answer.
No, there's not.
Everybody's got, like you said, everybody's got an opinion. There's different variations, and it's all very dependent upon the company.
And I have preferences.
Sure.
You have preferences.
Sure.
Listeners have preferences.
But sometimes you don't get what you prefer.
That's true.
And then you're just flexible.
You have to be flexible.
And you try to do the best at what you got.
Yeah. And if you are in a situation where you have to be flexible, make sure you understand what your role is and what the product manager's role is.
Right. What's expected of you versus them.
And then work very closely with them. Mm-hmm. That's the best advice I can give you. All right.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yay.
So if you have any feedback or any questions about the product owner space, or if you're interested in being a co-host, you can email us at deliveritcast@gmail.com. You can find us online at deliveritcast.com, or we are on Twitter at deliveritcast.
We have a couple questions.
Yay.
Yay. All right. Zach, he wants to know about stakeholders in the sprint review. Mm-hmm. So he says that a Scrum coach recently advised that they include stakeholders in the sprint review, but he feels like that could be a little risky. So do they get a vote on whether the story is done, the stakeholders? They're not Scrum team members, and he believes that team members should vote on done or sprint ready and would like our advice.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. All right,
so
Zach.
I will say that yes, stakeholders can be in the demo or the sprint review.
I agree.
They should be able to see what product is coming at them for this release or this sprint.
Yep.
I think that's not only a good thing to do, I think it should be what you do. There should be some customer representative in every demo looking at what the team has produced.
And that's where they can give their feedback and ask questions. Yeah. And it's actually very valuable to the team to have somebody that's going to be the end user seeing what you've produced.
Yeah. So definitely have them in. Definitely let them give that feedback.
They're allowed to talk.
They're allowed to talk. They're allowed to ask questions toward the end. Mm-hmm. But during the stories, they can ask questions. We just don't want them to derail the demo, right?
Nope.
The demo has a purpose. The purpose is to show what we built. So if they derail that, then use your Scrum Master, use your Agile coach, or you yourself as a product owner, help guide them to, maybe that's something we can take a note on and get back to you later. So they definitely can be there. They do not get a vote, however, on whether the story's done or not. That to me is a little weird, but the product owner is the one who decides whether the story's done.
And if the story's not done, it shouldn't be in the demo.
Right. If the customer looks at what you built and says, that's not right, or I want something else now, it doesn't matter. That story is done.
It's done.
Right? The product owner has said has created the story. The team has built that. The product owner went back and said, yes, that's what I asked you to build. That's what you built. And we showed it to the customer. Now, if the product owner got it wrong, that's on their shoulders, right? If the customer changed their mind, then it's a new story.
Yeah.
It's a new story.
And it's to be prioritized and put into the backlog.
Right. So the customer doesn't get to say, no, you're not done with that story yet. They can say, I want something else. That's perfectly fine. That's totally legitimate. But no, they don't get a vote on whether it's done or not. Actually, there is no voting on whether a story is done or not. It's, are the acceptance criteria met? Did our definition of done get met? Can we push it out the door?
And I think too, it's up to the product owner to educate those stakeholders on what they're showing. Yes. So there may be a larger epic, but it's up to the product owner to say, okay, out of the larger epic, we've completed 2 out of the 4 stories, and this is what I'm going to show you.
Yeah.
And that way they can't say, well, it's not done yet. Where are the other 2 things?
Yeah.
Well, we haven't done those yet.
Those are next sprint or coming up.
So there's a piece of education.
There's a expectation setting.
Exactly.
Huge part of our job as product owners is to set expectations for customers, teams, everybody.
So Zach, I hope that answers your question. Do you want to comment any more on that one?
No, that's it. So
all right, got
bring
another
it to the demo and they don't get a vote.
Yes, but they can speak.
They can speak, yes.
All right, there's another question.
Okay.
Bob wants, not Bob Galen, but another Bob.
Right.
Bob wants to know what to do between sprint goal reach and end of sprints. So he says a good team will deliver its goal a day or 2 before sprint end as to avoid drama. Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know if they do that to avoid drama. They're just really good.
I'm all for avoiding drama, though.
I love drama. Bring it on.
No.
Just kidding. And he says, and possibly not all team members will be needed in order to finish the last 1 or 2 stories. So what does the team do until the sprint ends?
So let me get this straight. A team finished early.
Yes.
There's a few days left. Mm-hmm. What do you do?
Right. With the remaining team members that don't have any work to do.
So first of all, you celebrate.
Woohoo!
Because you get done early.
That's awesome.
That
but
is awesome.
You're not done yet. You still have a couple other stories.
That's true. But so let's say you've got 4 out of the 5 stories done.
That's great.
Yeah. So the first thing would be, are they needed on that 5th story? Are
Right.
they needed on that last story?
Yep.
Can they help?
Let's pretend they're not.
Okay, let's just pretend not. They got 3 people already on that story, and they're going to wrap it up in another 4 hours.
Yep.
So what can the rest of the team do?
Lots of things.
Lots of things. Lots of options.
Mm-hmm.
What's the first one?
Bugs.
Defects. Yep. Absolutely. Anything that's outstanding that you can knock out in a couple hours or minutes.
Okay, your turn. What's next for you?
Technical stories.
Tech debt.
Or stretch.
Tech
Tech debt. Yeah. So let's say tech debt. So anything that's technical debt that you know that this is something we need to upgrade this system or we need to do this and it'll take a day or so. Great. Here's a day. Let's pull it in.
Okay. What about helping QA?
Oh, sure.
They can help them do some testing.
Yep. Absolutely. Stretch stories.
Stretch. Okay.
So not only technical stories, but if there's a 2 or 1 point story that's kind of lurking in your backlog near the top that you can pull off and make the customer even happier by getting that done in the next day or 2, great. Go do that.
Research spikes.
Yes, absolutely.
Do some research spikes.
Yeah.
Learn some stuff.
We should know those research spikes that are in our backlog. We know
right.
they're coming up. If they're already time boxed to a day or 2, pull one that makes sense.
Yep.
Get it done.
What else you got?
Beers.
Beer.
Go for beer.
Beer is a good one.
Have a team outing. Go for some beer. It's not all work. You can actually go enjoy this and celebrate. That's what I'm
right.
Celebrate, have a beer, come back, get ready.
I enjoy giving them some time off too. I mean, if we're finished early and it's, I don't know, Friday at noon, go home.
Yeah.
Go start your weekend. Have a good weekend. So there are a number of things that the team can do.
So I'd love that situation though. That's the best situation where you're day 8 of a 10-day sprint, all but one story's done and they're going, okay, what can we do now? Mm-hmm. Great. Let's look at these options. Which one do you want to do? Which makes the most sense?
I have a developer right now who's just flown through his stories and I've literally given him 4 more stories and he just flies through them. Mm-hmm. It's just like, it's crazy.
I love that.
I'm like, I don't have any more stories for you. I got to get more stories. He's amazing.
Yeah. What else can we do? Okay.
Right.
All right. We'll go do that.
Yeah. That's a wonderful thing.
I love that.
Yep.
So very good. Thank you, Bob.
Thanks, Bob. And thanks, Zach.
That will about do it for this episode. Now, we do have next episode coming up, an interview with Bob Galen.
Interview with Bob.
We're going to talk to him about product ownership and the class he recently taught and kind of about ways to make ourselves better as product owners.
I know we're definitely looking forward to this conversation with him.
Very much so.
Yeah.
So, and again, I'll put out the call. So if you're interested in being a co-host, I'll have a post.
Bonus points if you can sing.
No.
Come on.
No. What if you can sing well? Maybe.
What are you insinuating, Corey?
maybe I'll allow that. I don't know. All right. These words are our own. They're not endorsed or representative of any company or organization. You can find me online at @iscoreybryan on Twitter or infrequently blogging at don'tyellatme.wordpress.com.
And as always, I can be reached through the show contact info.
And that is episode 17 delivered. Thank you very much for joining us today. We will see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
till it